Inflation explained for beginners. Imagine that 5 years ago, you could fill your grocery cart with $50. Today, that same cart with exactly the same items costs you $65 or more. Your salary probably didn't go up by that same proportion. That's not a coincidence or bad luck. It has a name, a specific cause, and understanding it is going to change the way you see every price you pay. Today, Rich explains inflation in the simplest way possible. But first, please subscribe, because later on I'm going to show you exactly the smartest way to protect your savings so they don't lose value over time. Let's start with the basics. Inflation is the general increase in prices over time, which means every dollar you have buys fewer things than before. It's not that products become more valuable. It's that money becomes less powerful. It's the exact same amount of paper in your pocket, but with less buying power. Here's the question almost nobody asks. Why does this happen? The simplest answer is that there's more money circulating in the economy than products available to buy with that money. Imagine an auction where suddenly every participant has double the money in their pockets. Prices go up, not because the product changed, but because there's more money competing for the same amount of things. That's inflation in its purest form. Too much money chasing too few products. Now, where does that extra money come from? There are several causes, and let's go through them one by one. The first cause is that governments sometimes print more money or inject it into the economy through their central banks. During economic crises, governments like the United States inject billions of dollars to keep the economy running, pay out benefits, or avoid financial collapses. That new money eventually reaches people's hands, and people spend it. More money circulating, same products available, prices go up. The second cause is supply chain problems. If a factory can't produce enough products, or a ship can't transport goods because of a logistics problem, the available supply shrinks. When there are fewer products, but the same amount of people wanting to buy them, prices naturally go up. This happened very visibly during recent global supply chain disruptions. The third cause is the rising cost of producing things. If oil prices go up, transporting goods costs more. If wages go up, manufacturing products costs more. Companies don't absorb those extra costs, they pass them on to the final price you pay at the store. The fourth cause, and this one is psychological but real, is expectations. If people expect prices to keep rising, they start buying more now before prices rise further, which generates more demand, which effectively makes prices rise even faster. It's a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy. Now let's talk about something many people don't fully understand. Inflation doesn't affect everyone equally. If you have fixed-rate debt, like a fixed-rate mortgage, inflation actually benefits you a little, because you're paying off that debt with dollars that are worth less than when you took it out. But if you depend on a fixed salary that doesn't adjust, or you have savings sitting uninvested, inflation hits you directly because that saved money loses purchasing power every year that passes. This explains why inflation feels like an invisible tax. Nobody sends you a bill that says inflation tax, but you end up paying more for everything without any politician ever explicitly voting to raise your taxes. So, what can you do about this? The first thing is to understand that money sitting idle loses value over time. If you have a significant amount of savings just sitting in an account that doesn't earn competitive interest, those savings are silently losing purchasing power every year. Looking into high-yield savings accounts is a simple first step so your money can at least compete a bit against inflation. The second thing is that assets which tend to rise in value, along with inflation, like real estate, company stocks, or commodities, have historically protected purchasing power better than cash sitting idle. This doesn't mean you should invest everything at once without understanding the risks, but it does mean that keeping everything in cash during periods of high inflation has a silent cost that a lot of people ignore. The third thing is to review your recurring expenses more frequently during periods of high inflation. The prices of services and subscriptions often rise quietly, and many people don't notice because the automatic charge just keeps going through without anyone questioning it. The fourth thing is understanding that negotiating your salary or looking for additional income isn't greed. It's a logical response to an environment where the cost of living keeps rising. If your salary stays the same while everything around you costs more, you're effectively getting a pay cut every year, even if on paper your number stays the same. Inflation isn't a phenomenon you can control individually, but understanding how it works lets you make decisions that protect you instead of just suffering its effects without understanding why your money buys less and less. If this helped you understand something you felt but couldn't explain, subscribe to Rich Stick, because Rich is just getting started showing you how money really works. See you in the next video.